like, dang, can I see that screenshot? Because I was like, wow, that's really cool.
Yeah.
She sent this to him and they have a photo of it. I was like, can I see it? So I looked at it. I was like, yeah, that was my ad. So they came in, and who cares? It's not about them buying that house, but he put down a deposit for new construction, $600,000 house. It cost me $30 for that ad. And I mean, I know it's all about branding and stuff, but shoot, $30 for that lead?
I think that's a pretty good return on investment. I don't know
Yeah.
about you, but I
Yeah,
would
I
take
was
that
all
all
about
day.
it. I was
Yeah.
like, it was pretty cool. And what was so funny about it was they're first time home buyers. So, I mean, I just feel like you just have to educate people. So at the open house, I had my home buyer guide, and I really just like had mentioned, like, are you going to need help with closing costs? And he was like, oh, I don't know. What are they? And I was like, oh, let me break this out for you. And I was like, here, I was just like providing value, like educating him. And
Yeah.
he was, oh, okay, cool. So he took it home. Well, he was like, I really want to bring my wife back. And I was like, okay, cool. So I met up with him the next day, I think it was. We met up the next day at the house, and I'm showing him and the wife the property. And then they're like, oh, well, we do have a showing right after this. And I'm like, oh, okay, that I have access to all properties. Like, I can show you anything. And they were like, oh, okay, we didn't know that. Like, they had no idea. And I never think, like, to tell somebody that. I'm like,
Yeah, for sure.
yeah. So anyways, they went, I was like, okay, yeah, go to your showing. Let me know how it goes. If you need any more help, just let me know. They went to that showing, which was across the street from the house. I literally waved goodbye as they were like walking into the house. And I'm like, damn, I hope this other realtor doesn't like show me up or something. Like, I was
Right.
worried about losing them. So they called me after, and they were like, Stevie, that was so horrible. That real estate agent, he showed up in flip-flops, and he was on his phone the whole time. I
Oh
was like,
man.
thank goodness.
Yeah.
And and so then after that, like I was showing them several other properties, and they were just like, we're so glad that we met you, and you could just tell like this is your career, like this is your job. And this other guy, was like probably part-time or something. And I just thought that was like so cool. And I hardly ever do Facebook ads.
Yeah, for sure. That is, I mean, that's
Awesome.
really
I
cool.
need to do them more.
Yeah, for sure. Now did you run that on your personal page or business page? Maybe you
You can only do ads on your business page.
Okay. Oh, I guess that's true. Yeah, okay. Um, okay, so and that was around an open house that you had?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so that's pretty cool because I've ran some here and there and I've gotten some great responses. I'm starting a seller one coming up. But the buyer ones, so I was going over numbers and I had 202 leads in 1 month for a buyer one that I spent $120 on. So that's a lot of leads coming through. So I was like, okay, pause that bad boy because like, what are leads if you can't follow up with them, right?
Right.
So that one that I had ran, it was targeted towards a home that it's over like near Lake Arlington with a pool, and we had twilight photos done, and it showed like so well.
Yeah.
So I had done that one. And the reason that I bring this up is because I saw somebody put on here, how do you convert leads? And so I want to talk a little bit about that. Now for myself, my big thing with converting online leads like that is putting together a really strong follow-up system. I think that's something really important to hit on is, okay, if you're getting them through, like, let's just say Facebook Messenger, or then they're registering on your website, like clearly they're like internet based, right? Like not only the lead itself, but that's how they prefer to communicate. And so I think the opportunity that I found really to be really important is following up with text messages with them, because that's what I found that they respond to. So that's how I convert a lot of them, to set up an appointment and to like actually get face to face. But for me, it all comes into like asking the right questions so that you can get in front of them. But I agree. I do run I run like 1 to 2 Facebook leads, Facebook ads a month. And have found that I'm working on a seller one right now, but I found that they, you know, if they're registering on your website, they're probably registering on another, is how I always just like look at it. And so I'm constantly trying to just stay in front of them.
So in that Facebook ad, like I targeted people who were interested in Zillow and Realtor.com. What were you setting yours up as?
So I have put in there, I would put in there the same thing, like Realtor.com, Zillow, Trulia, as their interests.
Yeah.
And I would also put in there, like age ranges, locations of where they live. Now, what's so funny that you bring that up is I met with a title rep today, and we discussed things through our MLS where we can see like, okay, when's the last time that this home was bought and sold, and do it like 5 to 7 years ago, and then target those people, because chances are they're probably looking to like upsize or downsize. So like in my market for the MLS, it will provide that information for me through like a third party, which is so cool, right?
Yeah.
So, but so I think just the interest that I do, now that I think about it, I did a preset from so long ago that I haven't really changed it.
Yeah. I think that you should have a basic and not so technical with all these like different things. So
yeah, I agree with you. And I do try to like, where it says like excludes, I tried to like put in like real estate agent, realtor, Keller Williams, Century 21, all these things, because I'm not trying to spend money to get it in front of other agents.
Yeah. No, for sure. So what was I going to ask you? Do you know how to, like, I really want to take, like my Boomtown leads and take those email addresses and put them into a Facebook ad, and apparently you can target those people with that email address.
Yes, you can. Okay, so I will have to get back to you on how to do it, but I think that it is, I'm pretty sure it's a newer feature.
Okay.
That Boomtown offers. But yeah, you like basically set them back up on like a retargeting.
Yeah.
And so you can do that.
I want them to see all my stuff.
Yeah. I want to get in front of them as much as I can.
Yeah.
Also, what was I going to tell you? Oh, so if I'm running a Facebook ad and they register through Facebook, like, how there's a little icon, a circle icon with their Facebook profile.
Yeah.
So I'm making sure that I hop on I click that link and then go to my business page and invite them to like it.
Okay. Yeah.
And so that way I'm always staying in front of them now when they're on Facebook, because my stuff's going to stay in front of them.
My first Boomtown lead that I got, I saw that it was connected to their Facebook. So I added them, and I just added them straight to like my personal page. And they were my first Boomtown like paid lead.
Oh yeah.
A couple months ago. And I was like, I didn't know, like, should I add these people on Facebook? And I'm like, yeah, I want them to see all my real estate stuff and like what I'm doing. And I think it was like super beneficial, because they were like, okay, she's legit. She's not like, because they weren't answering my calls.
Right.
And they saw all my stuff, and then they were military, pre-approved, $300,000 house.
That's so awesome.
Yeah.
That's so cool. Okay. So I'm going to look over here into the chat. So I see, how do you come up with good and attractive content for mailers to spear and farm? So I know, Stevie, I know you use Canva too, right?
Yeah.
I do too. And I have found it to be, really beneficial with like taking the guesswork out of things. Like I'm not trying to create everything from scratch. So I use Canva, and if you are a KW agent, Command now allows you, pretty cool what they're doing. They've turned it a platform that looks like Canva, but it's real estate only. So it's really cool because they already have like outline like Facebook ads or Facebook images, Twitter, YouTube, mailers, open houses. So it's really cool. But if you are looking for like a free way, I use Canva too. Now, I don't know if you've ever uploaded that list to like Vistaprint. And so what I will do is through Mojo or through any of those other platforms, what you can do is you can farm an area and get their names and addresses and upload it to Vistaprint or any of those websites, and they'll send out mailers for you with all the print and everything. And then you're not having to handwrite them or do any of that. Although I don't know if you've seen, but there's like new companies coming out with handwritten programs, and I think that's genius.
Yeah.
I love that. So, okay. Somebody said build a lookalike list on Facebook to do that. I wonder if that was in regards to what we were talking about with social media before.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, good deal. So what else do we, would make this super beneficial, and what do we need to hit on as far as marketing goes? Is there anything that you're specifically doing that, you feel like it's outside of the box or anything like that?
I guess, I don't know. I was actually talking to someone today. It was this new real estate agent, and she was just talking to me about like what she does, or like asking me what I do for marketing and how much money I spend. And I was like, really? I don't really spend that much.
Yeah.
I mean, all these social media platforms are free. I do send mailers, but it's only to my sphere and past customers. And really, that doesn't hardly cost me anything. And then with the Facebook ads, like that hardly costs anything.
Right. I agree with you. I don't spend, I shouldn't say I don't. I spend very, very little money for marketing because a lot of it's done through social media. And I think a lot of it too is, something just like this. It's building relationships with other agents that are all across the map. That way, should you have somebody that is looking in Jacksonville, Florida, or in South Dakota, or wherever it might be, that you have a top producing agent, and like this, that, we're all clearly growth-minded individuals, because we all wouldn't be on this call if we weren't. So agent to agent referral is huge too. I
think I was mentioning to you the other day how July I had 5 closings, and
share this story. This is so awesome.
None of them were people that I met or anything that I had done. It was all referrals from other real estate agents all over the country, and they were like, had reached out to me, and they knew of somebody that wanted to buy or sell, and I gave them a referral. But I was just like, holy shit, if I didn't have that database, July wouldn't have had a closing. And it was all from people on Instagram.
So they were all from Instagram?
All of them were from Instagram.
That's so cool.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I love hearing that, because, I do think that we tend to like overcomplicate or just like overthink, when it comes to the marketing of it. And it really isn't.
Yeah.
Really
I don't use social media That's like my credibility. So whenever I meet somebody new, I'm finding them on one of those platforms and I want them to see all the stuff I do, because when you see all these things on social media, it's the highlight reel, it's these videos, these closings, I'm sharing all my open houses, like all these different things. You're just like, wow, she's doing really good. And that really clicked with me when I first started, because my friends, you know, I was sharing all this stuff. I never had a closing in the beginning. But I was just sharing, like, okay, I'm going to this training, I'm getting this certification, I'm touring this property. And they were like, Stevie, dang, it looks like you're killing it. And I'm like, I haven't had a closing yet.
Yeah.
But you build up this credibility with all that. It's crazy. So like now I'm really doing, honestly, all the same things. The only thing that's different is I have closings now.
Yeah.
And people see that. It's not that I'm doing anything spectacular on these platforms. I'm just showing up.
Yeah, for sure. And, you know, we talk about that, just like being like transparent, showing the day-to-day activities and what you're doing. You know, I think that it's not a conversation of list with me, buy with me, build with me, you know, all that. It's, you know, when you're just sharing what you're doing, how you're growing your business, what your clients say about you, the classes and the trainings and all of that, it's showing up and like you said, building that credibility. I am curious to see, I think I know the answer to this, but are you sending out video text messages to prospective, current, past clients?
I have done that in the past.
Okay. I thought I saw you had done it recently through a Boomtown email.
Yeah. So I use a platform and I do send videos, and I have been doing that through like drip campaigns. So it's all set up for me with Boomtown, and it is these videos.
It BombBomb?
It's not BombBomb. It's Vidyard, which is free.
Oh, there we go. Okay, because I'm like, BombBomb is cool, and it also comes with a not so cool price tag.
Yeah. So this is free, and I've been like all about it, but I listened to Ricky Carruth, and one of his things like that he had mentioned one time was that when you send a video, he thinks that people's, I don't know, but BombBomb says the open rate is like really good, but he was saying how like your email basically goes to spam with a video.
Got it. So,
really quick, because I'm glad we brought up the video thing, because Stevie, I had seen on one of your posts about that, and I started incorporating that on Boomtown.
Yeah.
And my open rate is not good. Like I've had 1 out of 10 videos that I've sent.
Okay.
So I was going to ask you how that was for you, because I also wondered, you know, because when you click on it, it then opens up another tab, and then does it fall into spam? Maybe
are you using Vidyard?
Yeah, because I had contemplated doing BombBomb, but that, again, like the price, it's just like, gosh.
Yeah. I set mine up so when someone opens up the email, it's my face with the play symbol. So it's not a link taking them somewhere else.
Right.
So I mean, I don't know. I felt like when I was looking at emails, I was seeing people open it several times.
Really?
And I mean, yeah, there were some times that they weren't opening, but they weren't opening any email.
Got it.
I don't really know if it's like beneficial or not, but I felt like it seemed fine to me and working. But I mean, they're still going out because it's already like set up that way. But
so I haven't done email videos yet, but I have done text message videos.
Okay.
And it does take a little bit of a longer period, but I have gotten some great responses from them. So who I primarily send them out to are expireds that I haven't been able to get on the phone yet.
That's good, I feel like.
And so it's cool because not only does, I'm going to tie this into marketing, because not only does it allow them to see my face, put a voice with a name, a face with a name, and all of those. But then when it comes down to getting the appointment with them, sharing with them like, okay, so you've had, X number of agents calling you over the past 3 weeks. How many of them sent you a video like I did?
Yeah.
And so they're like, yeah, that's true. That is taking it outside of the box. It is taking it, having the won't take no for an answer type of approach to things.
Yeah.
And they're just simple videos that I record and then just send out to them.
Yeah.
And so
these vendors who are like trying to get my business, like,
yeah.
When they send a video, I'm like, oh shit. Okay.
They're serious.
Like, this is cool. Like, I love it. I'm like, wow, this was so much personable than you just sending a mass text or a mass email. Like, they were saying my name. And I mean, I'm sure they did it to all these other real estate agents, but I'm just like, I feel like to me, it's so much more personable. And I do try to come up with a very captivating subject line. I used to be like, happy Monday or just checking in. And now I'm like, figuring out a way for them to open this.
For sure. Yeah, I think that's huge. I think it comes down to that. Speaking of that, I have one drip in Boomtown that I get all the responses to. They can never, they might have never responded to anything. And the subject line is, did I drop the ball?
Oh, yeah.
And these people are immediately like, oh my God, no, you didn't. I'm so sorry. We just been so busy. I'm like, oh, it's okay, sister. Calm down.
Yeah.
It's okay. Okay. So one of the things is, Amanda, how do you get your phone numbers for expireds? So I paid for 3 different, well, I shouldn't say myself. My team paid for 3 different platforms and the numbers were all bogus. So what I do now is I have a White Pages account. It's like $100 for the year. It's like something super cheap and you can get cell phone numbers through it. And either you pull the numbers or hire someone for $10, $12 an hour and ask them to pull all of them. And I have them import it directly into Mojo so that I can go in there and go on the dialer.
Yeah.
So that's what I do. And then, so Stevie, what are some of your catchy sayings to get them to open?
Gosh, what was this week? So I've been trying to do an email every week because that's like what Ricky Carruth does. I'm like, I'm obsessed with it.
It's fine.
It's only normal, right?
Yeah, no, it totally is.
The one for this week, I wanted to send my buyer guide to everybody. And I think I said something along the lines like, you don't want to miss this or something. I'm trying to think of what the other ones are. Oh, gosh, I wish I could remember. But Jenna Kutcher, I don't know if anyone's heard of her. She has that podcast, Gold Digger. And she's really like built her business off emails, like getting people's emails. And she's all about like open rates and stuff. And so I'm subscribe to her emails and I get all of them and every single one is so freaking good, and I will kind of like twist it a little bit so it's more towards real estate or something, and I really use a lot of hers because like they do make you want to open up the email.
That's awesome.
They're super clever.
That's so cool.
And she even said, she was like, if you subscribe to my thing, you're going to see these captions and you're going to want to use them yourself. So I would check those out because I really implement those.
One of the ones that I like to send out, and I think I have it on a drip email, but I like to send it out through text message, is all about, so for the email, it's let's go see some homes.
Yeah.
And for like, and in the body of the email, it's pretty much the same thing, just a little bit longer. But for the text message, it's, hey, I'm setting up showings for this weekend and don't want to leave you behind. What homes do you want to go see? And they respond back like either like, oh, well, I've been seeing the homes that you're sending. I want to go see this or that. But really, it's just to open up a conversation. It's not necessarily like, okay, does tomorrow at 4:00 work? It's to open up a conversation of, okay, remind me again, where are you at? Have you been pre-approved and all of those things?
Oh yeah, definitely.
And also,
outside the box.
What's that?
You got to think outside the box, because even with my emails, I'm like, I have so much junk that comes through here, and I really only, if they've got like a good caption, I'm like, oh, okay, this like got my attention.
Yeah, definitely. What else was I going to tell you about that? Oh, not making so same thing with like strictly real estate. Like, I know I have ones in there like top kitchen decor, or like here are the 2019 top interior paint colors, like things like that, so that it's not just like constantly, when are you going to buy a home? When are you going to sell your home? And all of that.
Yeah.
It's like giving them like other content that excites them and gets them open up to other conversations.
One thing I've used that I'll use sporadically is like, hey, I'm setting up my schedule for this weekend. It's filling up, and if you need to see these houses, just let me know. Because I see them on Boomtown, looking.
Yeah.
So I might like reference one of those houses.
Yeah.
There was somebody that registered on my Boomtown this morning, and I saw she was looking at in Rivertown, which is like one of our communities here. And so I wrote her and I said, hey, I'm going to be in Rivertown, which she never told me she was interested in Rivertown, but you can see all that.
Yeah.
And I was like, hey, I'm actually going to be in Rivertown tomorrow. Do you want me to show you some properties? Which I'm not planning on being in Rivertown. It's like 45 minutes away, but I will.
Right.
So I told her I was going to be there. And she wrote me back and she was like, actually, we're going to Disney, but we could on Sunday. And I was like, I'll see you Sunday.
I'll see you Sunday.
Small homes. And so that was awesome, because you can see, I know everyone doesn't have Boomtown, but maybe if you know of an area that they are looking in, or a particular community, just tell them you're going to be in the area. I just want to like build, I have no idea if they're pre-approved or if they're looking anytime soon, but I just want to build that relationship with them.
Yeah, definitely. And same thing, because I use the hot sheet feature in Boomtown a lot.
Yeah.
And like, they might have already looked at a property, but I play dumb and I'm like, oh my God, I saw this property and it looks like it hits everything that you're looking for. And like, they are like, oh my God, I saw that property and I loved it. Yes, let's go look at it.
Yeah. I'm like, yeah, I know. You looked at it 14 times.
From 3 different locations.
Yeah. In the last 24 hours.
Yeah. So it's not always about just, use the information that they're giving you, right?
Yeah.
And then just put it like, I'm thinking of you, or, oh, I'm going to be out in that area too. Let's meet up type of thing. Yeah. So that's awesome.
I can't remember my other subject lines, but I'll have to go back in these drip campaigns and look at them. But I know the initial one, when they sign up, it does say like, I'm so happy that you're here, ! That's the only one I can think of, like offhand. But I feel like that's something different than like your Jacksonville realtor.
Or like, thanks for visiting my website.
Yeah, thanks for registering.
Yeah, you're welcome.
So I think like really take the time to figure out these captions and try to think of something creative.
Yeah, definitely. I think that that's probably something that we overlook. Just like like when people post like YouTube videos and things, when they have a pretty cool title, you're like, oh yeah, I want that, Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, so we talked about Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. We talked about video marketing. I see some questions. Do your buyers easily get pre-approved before looking at properties? Buyers in my market leave that for after searching. So there has to be a really good reason for me to rearrange my day to go out and show them if they're not pre-approved. That's just me. That doesn't say that I won't go out and view them, but it's usually like, okay, let's meet at my office first. And I do that so I have a script that I use that's, this is why it's beneficial to get pre-approved, and here's why it's not a good idea to look at homes before you're not pre-approved, especially we're in such a fast-moving market here where like it's so typical for homes to get under contract within, over a weekend's time for multiple offers. And so when you just convey that to them, in a way that's beneficial to them, and it's not telling them, it's asking them questions and tie downs, which are like, that makes sense, doesn't it? Or, how does that sound?
Yeah. One question I've used when getting like them talking about like, oh, I'm looking at $300,000, and I'm like, oh, okay, did you get pre-approved? And they'll be like, no. And I'll say, oh, do you know how much that breaks down monthly with your mortgage, insurance, taxes, HOA? We have CDD fees. Like, do you know, would that equal 300,000? Like where you want to be monthly? And they usually have no idea, and that like stumps them. And I'm like, okay, you really want to educate yourself, because I don't want you to get out of budget every month. And this is really a conversation for you to have with a lender, because they see your credit, they see your income, they see your debt to income, and I don't see any of that. And I feel like once I mention that, they're like, oh shit, yeah, we got to figure that out.
Yeah.
They don't realize that there's like so many different components to that monthly amount.
Yeah. And the way that you word it is what I like to do too. It's like, my job is to help you find that perfect home for your family while not getting in over your head. Right?
Yeah.
And so like, yeah, that's true. So let's go ahead and let's start with the first step of the home buying process, which is speaking with the lender so that you can figure out your best financing options. How does that sound? And they're always like, oh, okay, well, yeah, I guess I didn't realize what the first step is.
Yeah.
And so I'm really big on asking questions.
Yeah.
And
I think most of my buyers are usually pre-approved, because it's a lot of like, I know them, or like a referral. Yeah. But, with some internet leads, and if they're not pre-approved, and I know that, I'm still going to go out there and meet them, because I want to wow them. I need them to meet me in person and build that relationship. And let's say I go to meet them and they're like, oh, we're actually not pre-approved. And it's like 6 months out or something. And I'll be like, okay, yeah, no problem. I still want to just provide so much value and connect with them and ask them, hey, do you know of anybody else that might be looking to buy or sell, or just like keep me in mind type thing.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. And I think that there's a difference between like rearranging from like 9 to 5 to go and show them versus like, okay, let's either meet at my office or let's meet at one of the properties that you want to go look at so that we can have that buyer's consultation. Yeah. But I'm really big about like having a buyer's consult, and
it's like you have to.
I know. There's just, especially like if they are first time or it's been a while, it's like, yeah, there's a lot more into it than just like finding that perfect home.
I usually mention, do you know what the upfront costs are? Do you know how much a home inspection is, an appraisal? Mm-hmm. Okay, then we should really just like meet up real quick in the office, go over things, or I'll be like, I'll take you out to coffee, lunch, and just break things down. And then they're like, okay, yeah.
Yeah, that's a really good way to frame it. I like how you word it that way.
Yeah. When you talk about money, they're like, oh, okay, we don't know anything about it.
Which yeah.
So.
Yeah, that's exactly it. And yeah. And I always say like, I want to make sure that you know start to finish about the process so that there's no surprises from now until we close on the home. You don't want any surprises, right?
Yeah.
And of course, you're like, I don't want any surprises.
You want this to be stressful? Because I don't.
No, ma'am. Okay, so a couple other things that I do for marketing side of things and to like set me apart from other competition is
Let's hear it.
on the on my signs, I put a text writer on top of it.
Okay.
And so I don't know if any of you utilize that or not, but so I always say like, hey, you remember like back in the day, there would be a property flyers, and like your mom would stop the car, ask you to run up and grab it, and then like they just book it and take off, right? You never know where that goes. And and especially like all the older sellers are like, oh yeah, like we did that all the time, And so what I say is the benefit to that is, okay, well, in today's day and age, everybody wants the information like now. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a rider on the top of the for sale sign. And so any buyers that come by, they text a 5-digit code, and I not only get their contact information, but I'm sharing information about your home with them. And so it's a give and take. So we can then follow up with the conversation to see if they are pre-approved, if they want to see it, if they have any questions, all of those good things. And, it's a lead for us to then see if we can get a buyer from your home that way. And a lot of agents don't do it, or just, I don't know if they just aren't around with it yet. And so many of, and so I do a lot of expireds. They're like, wow, okay, we've interviewed 5 agents and nobody has brought that up to us yet.
Yeah.
And so again, it's like they're looking at me as thinking outside of the box. They're looking at me as marketing that is not like something typical that agents are doing. Yeah. And so
that's cool.
It sets me apart from that. Has anybody had any experience with the text writers or doing that?
We have them, but I've never used it.
Yeah. You should look into it. It's pretty cool. And the leads that come through, I mean, they can't put a bogus number in because it's like coming straight to you.
Oh yeah. That's good. That's awesome. And I just had somebody for the first time off of my sign that was outside. The person across the street was like looking to sell, and so they called me and they were like, hey, I saw you listed our neighbor's house. Are you I guess you work in this area, would you be interested in listing this? And I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
So that was the first time that's happened from me.
That's super cool. And I will tell you, so when they come through, I have them they automatically come through into my Boomtown.
Oh, nice. Easy breezy.
Yes.
You feel me, bro?
What service are you using that it goes into Boomtown?
So for me, it's called Circle Picks.
Oh, okay.
Have you heard of it?
I have. We
yep.
don't have that one anymore, I don't think. I used to be with Keller Williams too, so yeah, familiar with it.
Yep. So the Circle Picks, so it's linked up together. And so they just text the 5-digit code, and then where it comes through is Boomtown then.
Awesome.
Good deal. So what else?
Oh, how much is Boomtown?
Oh, how much is Boomtown? Is it worth it? New agent here on a tight budget. So Boomtown is not the cheapest there is. Especially if I were an individual agent, I see so much value in it, but I don't know that with the dollar amount attached to it that I see that much value in it. So I think if you are an individual agent, not on you're on a tight budget and you don't have a lot of money, especially like, yes, investing in a CRM is important, but I don't know that it's like $2,000 a month important, right? It's something like that.
So I told this Watson agent about it, and he went to go sign up, and it was just him. It was $1,000.
Okay. Yeah.
I got $1,000 referral though. But I was like, and I really, when I told him how much it was, I really was like, I mean, I feel like it provides so much value. It's freaking awesome. It's amazing. It's really cool. But damn, I don't know if I would be like, I feel like I'd be like, I'm going to do all this shit myself. I'll do the extra work and not spend that much money just because I'm cheap.
Yeah. No,
But the brokerage pays it for us, so.
Yes. And our team lead pays it for our team. So yeah, it does come with a hefty price tag, but there's other options out there. There's Sync, Follow Up Boss. I mean, to be honest with you, depending, like, you could utilize like Google Sheets, like, you know, something as small as that. What's that?
Excel.
Excel.
I did the Brian Buffini training, and he has his own CRM referral maker, and I think it was like $49 a month.
Yeah. And so, like, that, much more affordable than Boomtown.
Yeah. Has anyone done Brian Buffini? Or I guess not everyone's talking. Have you heard of him?
So I've heard of him, and I've contemplated about seriously looking into him, but I just never did. So what did you think about it?
I thought he had like some really good techniques. The only thing was his videos were so dated that it was just like, it kind of makes it like hard to relate. But he had like some really good points like about events. So since then, like I'm always hosting customer appreciation events. Another thing that he's really big about, and it was something that I never did before, and that was literally like if you help somebody or, you know, just simply asking them if they know of anybody looking to buy or sell. And I never have asked my friends before this. And so I just wrapped up the training. I'll share this story really quickly. And this guy who I'm friends with sent me this Facebook message, and he's in the military here. And he was asking me questions about the real estate exam because his mom was getting her license like in Georgia or something. So I was answering all these real estate questions for him. And then at the end of the conversation, like it was basically over, and he was like, okay, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Like, he obviously knows I'm in real estate. He's asking me this stuff, right? So at the end of the conversation, I was like, okay, I really want to ask him because he's in the military here. He must know a lot of people. Most of my buyers are VA. I want to ask him if he knows of anybody. I was nervous. And I'm like messaging, like I'm not even face to face asking. And I was like, I literally like asked and like walked away from the computer because I was like this. But I provided value. I answered all these questions for him. And then I was like, hey, do you know of anybody? Which I was like, duh, you know, I'm in real estate. I feel kind of stupid asking. So he ended up saying back to me, he was like, I'll ask tomorrow at work. And I was like, oh shit, this guy's going to ask at work? And I'm like, okay, let me know. The next day he got back to me and he was like, hey, my buddy, him and his fiance, she's pregnant. They are pre-approved. They don't have a real estate agent. So I set up a buyer consult with that couple, and I sold them a $300,000 house about 2 weekends later. Now they just had their 1 year, and they had their baby girl. She's about to turn 1, and I'm going to their little girl's birthday party in like 2 weeks.
Oh, I love that.
He would have never told me if I didn't ask. And he sent me somebody else. So to me, my mind was like, oh my God, I'm an idiot. It's like, you have to ask people. You have to ask. And like, I feel like I'm not a salesy person. And like, I just answered all these questions for him. And then I feel like that fits my personality. Like I'm helping people all the time and just being like, hey, if you happen to know of anybody that's looking to buy or sell, let me know.
Yeah.
You know, like,
yeah.
If you have a buyer who can't get pre-approved, okay, cool. Well, you know what? I'm not going anywhere. Do you know of anybody? I'd love to help them. You know what I mean? Like, for some reason, that was really hard for me. And now I'm like asking everybody.
I know. I was just going to say that. Like now, like I go to Kroger, I pick up my groceries. I'm like, hey, by the way, I'm like, the kid's like 16. I'm like, tell your mom and dad about me.
Here, give him my card. Give him my card.
That's exactly right. Like now it's like that question is thrown out of my mouth like 5 to 7 times a day.
Yeah.
So yeah, I definitely agree with you. That's something to like consistently stay at the forefront.
I met up with this girl, just one other story with this whole Buffini tactic. We had not seen each other in a really long time. I went to high school with her and we met up one day. We had brunch and I'm talking, people ask you, oh, I see you on social media. It seems like you're doing really good, all this stuff. So like I talked about work a little bit, but I don't like to bring it up. Like people will ask you though. So I did talk about it for a little bit. And then anyways, at the end of brunch, we're saying bye. And I'm like, hey, girl, if you ever hear of anybody looking to buy or sell, I'd love to help. You won't believe what she said to me. She was like, I've got this condo that the tenant's moving out in like 2 weeks. Would you be interested in listing it? I was like, yeah. What? So then like literally 2 weeks later, I did the photos. We had 12 offers. It went over list price. She was super happy, but I was just like, I just had brunch with you. Yeah. I'm in real estate. I don't think she would have ever brought it up to me if I didn't ask her.
Yeah, no, that's so true.
Crazy.
Yeah, you're like, actually, you know what? I do have an opening. I'm accepting one more listing right now. So you're in.
Yeah, it's so crazy.
That actually brings up a good point. So I created a social media post a little while ago that said currently accepting 3 new clients.
Oh, nice.
You wouldn't believe the people that were like, oh my gosh, I'm not ready right now, but like in another 30 days, I will be when this and this happens or whatever.
Yeah.
I was like,
I feel like I stole your idea and I used that for recruits. And I was like, I'm accepting 3 more.
Yeah.
Like months ago, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I totally stole that and like
perfect. Well, I hope that it worked for you because
and then people were like, yeah, actually.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, you know what's hilarious about that? I messaged somebody today and I said, hey, I've been trying to reach you the past few weeks about your home on 123 Main Street that expired. Is your goal still to sell the property? He responded back and said, you have the wrong number, but I'm thinking about getting a career in real estate. This was today.
Nice.
I was like,
come on.
You know what? I can help you with that too.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that is so funny. Yeah, I'm going to look into him because I've heard some really great things. And I think I've heard that he has like so much like knowledge and information and insight.
Yeah.
I don't know that
those
I like ask anybody.
The main takeaways were like the events. I really got into events, which I think are great. And then like asking for the business. He does a lot about like sending people things of items of value, like newsletters, and he gives you like templates, but they're kind of dated. And then he's really big about popping by people's houses and giving them something of value. So he does a lot of training about that. I think we got it for free, but I think it's like $300 or something.
Yeah, I know that it costs money to take it, but yeah, I think the pop buys would be something that I would love to do, but I would totally have to leverage that off. Like I'm trying to close some big numbers next year. And I don't think being able to bring pop buys by, I know that sounds like bad. Like I don't have time in the day, but I mean, realistic.
It's time consuming.
Yeah. Like, I don't know about you, but like DFW is like spread out. Like Dallas is here, Fort Worth is here, Arlington's here. Like I ain't got time for that.
Yeah.
Okay. One last question. When it comes to So like either like mailers or emails that you're sending to people, what type of content are you feeling is like most value packed for buyers, sellers, for anybody? Is there like one piece of information that you just like love sending out and people give such a great response back?
I feel like my guides are my moneymaker because even with sellers and buyers, I feel like they see this. And if I can't get in front of them to give them a physical copy, I will email it. And it's just, 20 pages. It's an easy read. People can go through it and they see like, okay, this looks like she really created, not like, like a professional company. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
No, it was on Canva. So it looks like, okay, like this person probably made this. And then I just think like it's something a little bit different than what other real estate agents are doing. And then it's a great way to follow up if you aren't able to meet with them in person. Like I can call them and be like, hey, did you see that buyer guide that I created? That I made for you?
Right.
You see that?
I made it just for you.
Yeah. In your email. So
that's awesome. One of the things that I love that I need to get onto that because I know that you have that set up and I know so many agents find that to be so resourceful.
yeah.
Actually, Stevie, you should how do you typically get that from agents? Through like your Instagram or through your email?
How do I get them? What do you mean?
No, like how do you, because like don't a lot of agents buy those from you too?
Oh, yes.
You should totally either put your email in the chat or something so that if somebody was interested in it through here,
Oh, okay.
they could.
I'll post my Instagram handle and then you can just send me a message. That's probably the easiest.
Yeah. Okay. That's perfect. So one of the things that I like, especially this time of the year, is going over like market stats, but making it like super easy to read. The reason being is like I had a conversation with my sellers today. I brought up like price improvement with them, like reducing their price. And they were like, okay, we agree with you and we're going to do that. But if we don't have it sold by November 1st, we're going to take it off the market.
Oh, shoot.
And I was like, okay, that's totally fine. I understand why you'd want to do that because of the holidays coming up, right? And they were like, yeah, exactly. We don't want to be bothered. Well, they didn't realize until I said like, well, 75% of buyers are out-of-state buyers. And so when they're looking in the fourth quarter to move, they're looking because they're super motivated and they're on a time frame. And so I picture the buyer coming for your home to be like an executive, somebody higher up because it's a $500,000 home. And I said, so do you think, instead of doing a 1 hour showing advance notice, maybe we just need to make it like 2 hours or 24 hours because I don't want you missing out on a serious buyer in the fourth quarter. And they were like, wow, we never even thought about it like that. And so I think for buyers and sellers right now, it's creating that urgency to say, hey, now is the time to buy. Interest rates are low. Sellers have their home on the market because they're motivated to sell. This is when you can, get a great deal versus in the spring with all the competition. And then in turn, the other side of that with sellers, it's listing your home now because the buyers that are buying are motivated and, all of the things. And so we can negotiate a lease back for you so that you don't have to move before Christmas or whatever. But so that's something that I love marketing to my people. And I usually mail a lot of these items to them, email something, but then like try to get some items mailed to them too, just so that they can like really open it up, look at it, analyze it, because, my goal is to like make them act and like call me now,
Yeah. And does that work? Like, do people see your mailers and they're like, hey, I just got this in the mail?
So yeah, surprisingly enough, they're like, okay, I didn't think about it in those in that way. Especially because I just like simply bullet pointed out like buyers in this market right now, here's why, this is the time to list your home. And then same thing with buyers, like here, this is why it's the time to buy. Know your audience, of course, and what you're sending to them. But yeah, and I think too, it's, again, it goes back to just opening up the door for a conversation, because that's really where it has to start. And not always will they say like, yep, okay, come on over right now. But it's like, okay, that gives me something to think about. That gives us something to discuss over dinner tonight and see if now's the time. That's something that I'm loving like right now, because I hate getting the objection of, we're just going to wait till the spring. I'm like, no, you're not. Let's get this done now.
Yeah. Honestly, most of my business is November, December, and January.
Yep.
Like, people say that it slows down, but I think it's like the realtor is slowing down.
Yeah.
Because that's really my busiest time, and that's what I'll say to a seller. I'm like, oh, wow, really? Because these are my busiest months.
That's so funny that you're
still buying houses.
Yeah, that's right. It's so funny that you say that, because I had that recently with an expired. And the objection was, well, people they're not buying homes anymore. We're in the fall, headed to the winter months. I'm like, they're like, the market's slowing down. I'm like,
it's not.
Whose market slow down? Because my business is up bigger than ever.
Yeah.
And so.
But I think it's just the mentality of like, oh, it's the holidays. It's slower.
Yeah. Yeah. I totally agree with you on that one. So. Okay. Wrapping it up. Is there anything else that we need to cover or that anybody has questions on?
Probably not. They would have wrote it.
Well, I just wanted to throw out there for Bethany, because I know she was asking about Boomtown, and there's a creative way of getting on board is, we went after a lender to pay a portion of that. So me and another realtor started with a lender. So there's 3 of us that were covering the costs. And then we decided to expand and add 2 more agents on. So we're not on a team. We're all individual agents. And I'm the admin for it. But I've got 3 other people under me with the lender. And we now have the middle CRM portion of Boomtown. So if you've got some agents in your office, or maybe your broker is willing to kind of be the admin and open that up for you guys.
That's good.
And capture a lender, I'm paying $286 a month for Boomtown. So
that's so awesome. Way to go and like think outside of the box.
Yeah.
That is so cool. And like you're getting the benefit of using the great CRM of Boomtown, but then at the same time, like you're not having to come out of pocket $1,000. So that's a win-win. Yeah. Good job. Okay, good deal. Well, thanks everybody for hopping on. This was awesome. I really liked like the interaction, and Stevie and I were like, oh my gosh, today's been crazy. We really should have like bullet pointed a list out, and come to find out like this actually worked on.
It was like 6:40 or my time, and she was like, okay, do you know what you want to talk about? I was like, no, not really. We're just gonna pop on and we're gonna wing it.
Well, we will do a better job of doing that next time. But if you guys do have any other topics, be sure to get them to either Stevie or I, because I think we're going to try to do this every Wednesday evening. I think that it's beneficial, and I love this group that we've formed now.
I love it too.
All right, guys. Well, you have a good night, and I will talk with you soon.
Bye.
Thank you so much, guys.
Toodaloo. Thank you.